Hey guys, welcome to Sim Gaming NZ. This is 10 tips for beginning SimAirport. Thought this might be helpful, so let's head straight into it. Okay, so my first tip would be to plan your layout. You only get a certain amount of ground to build on. As you can see, it's not overly big really with all your other sections here, drop-offs, pickups. So the first thing you need to do is build your runway. Go as far with that to the top as you can, because you can't come back. So you really need to do that as far to the edge as possible to make the most of all the space you've got. Shove in some taxiways here. This isn't the probably optimal route, but I'm just giving you an example of how you really need to be working backwards with your layout. So runway, taxiway, gate, terminal, security ticketing, go backwards so that you make the most of the space you've got. Just chuck in some gates here, 4 large ones, and then we should be able to fit, I think, about 3 extra large ones here. There we go. And then chuck in some taxiways for them. Still got a bit of extra space down those sides, but that's okay. You've got the rest of your space now to build your terminal, to expand on as you're ready to. If we have a look at my save game that I've done basically the same layout. I don't want to go too overboard with my gates, and I haven't used the space as well as I should have. I could have put that runway up a bit further. But you can see here then I've got my gates. I've got 5 large ones and 2 extra large ones, just so I didn't have too many. But by doing that, I've been able to make the most of my terminal space. So after this, after doing your runways and stuff, and I've got room for hangers and things, then I can work backwards. Then I need to work on my terminal, security, ticketing, that sort of thing. Okay, so this is tip number 2, would be to research the CFO straight away. One of the biggest things with this is being able to do your pricing. So there's the operations manager you can research, and the finance manager. You really want to do that first, because then you can upgrade your pricing. You can research the pricing to upgrade it, and your bank loans, which you may need if you're doing some building. So if we look at pricing, you can see it's $400 at the moment for each runway usage, takeoff and landing, and then $10 per passenger. You really want to, once you've researched those, you want to up them a little bit so you get more money off each aircraft. But it costs you to do that, so you need to research the CFO first. Okay, tip number 3, buy night lights for the runway. If you do that, you just got to click on it and go upgrade. Once you do that, you can have flights at night, so you're basically becoming a 24-hour airport. It's $25,000. Shuttle on there, and now we can have night flights come in. So you can basically have flights around the clock, which is going to be much better for your income in the long run. Tip number 4 would be to expand your large gates before you jump into the extra large gates. You can see here, if I shove in a extra large gate, you're really having difficulty putting in other gates. It's just your layout's not quite right. So you really need to focus on your large ones first, expand those out before you jump in to the large ones, extra large ones. If we look at my save game, again, we'll see that I have gone all the way at the top here with my large gates. We've got 5 of them, and then I've expanded into the extra large gates. There's a couple of reasons. First of all, it allows you to slowly develop your terminal so that you can cope with things a bit better, but also it lets you put your extra large gates a bit further near the end, because they need a lot of capacity, so you're going to have to upgrade services before then. Number 5 would be luggage belts. So you're going to want to, at some point when you're ready, chuck in a baggage station out by the taxiway. Again, don't worry about the layout, I'm just showing you how it needs to work. And then go back to utilities and add the baggage line in. You need a line going from the back of your ticketing desks for departing passengers, and another line once you've added in your baggage carousel. These are for the arriving passengers in your baggage claim. Once you've done that, you can add those in. What that's going to do is it's going to free up 2 staff members, because until you do that, a staff member is going to go to the gate when the plane arrives and load up the baggage and deliver it to the baggage claim, and another staff member is going to go to the ticketing desk and do the same thing to the plane. Instead of that, you're going to have 1 baggage cart. Number 6, there's queues. So you need to make sure that you use the queues available to you. One of the major places is ticketing and security. If we look at ticketing for a second, let's just add some ticketing desks here. It's debatable whether you should use one single large queue or 2 or 3 smaller queues. I'm going to show you here just one large queue, but I tend to think probably a few smaller queues help with throughput. But either way, putting queues together for these services is going to help with your throughput. One of the important things is to remember that you need to assign them to a queue. So you need to assign each desk, like I'm doing here, with the queue. That's something I didn't know when I first started. It's definitely going to help with your throughput. Tip number 7, it's about development. So you really need to make sure while you're developing your terminal that you can use the rest of it during your development. So you'll see here in my save game that I can use all these sections still, all these gates, the security, everything else is still active while I've got this middle section which is still under development. So I don't quite know what I'm going to do with this yet. It's going to be a cafe, whatever, and as I expand it, I'm not affecting the rest of the airport. The security section is still working, the passengers are walking to the gates, and because of the walls, they're unaffected by my development. This is pretty important because it means that you can continually use your airport to its full capacity and of course make your money, which you need to be doing for the development, while expanding your airport. So just shutting things off, making sure that what you want to change can be changed without affecting the efficiency of your airport. As soon as you're ready to get rid of sections and have a bit more space, you can, but yeah, take it one step at a time. Don't jump into letting everybody roam free, because it will become a bit of a pain in the butt. Tip number 8 would be to add air traffic control to your airport. So one of the upgrades would be air traffic control. It's $30,000. It allows you to have more than 10 flights a day to your airport. So you can see on my schedule here I've got far more than 10 now. It means you can basically be a 24-hour airport. So it goes hand in hand with your night lights on the runway. Then you can just sort of have as many flights as you can throughout the day and make the most of your income. Tip number 9, garbage adds up pretty quickly, so you need to add some dumpsters. If you have a look at your map, you'll see that there's a garbage zone. Most of the time when you first start, the janitors will just dump bags there. So if we look at my save game, I've extended that quite a wee way to what it was. I've also shifted it, but extended it and shoved in some garbage dumpsters. Now that means that there's 10 bags to a dumpster. So at night when the dump truck comes along, it just comes along and empties the dumpster in one go and then takes it back, so it's not taking up so much room on the road. It's going to be far more efficient and quicker. Okay, last but not least, it's ticketing kiosks. So you need to add some auto ticket kiosks to your ticketing area. It means that the passengers without checked in luggage won't go to the ticketing desks, they'll check themselves in. It's a lot better for efficiency. It means that you'll have a lot higher throughput because those passengers will basically sort themselves out. It's not too expensive, $1,900 a kiosk. It's certainly worth doing to get some of those passengers offloaded. Okay, that was my 10 tips. Hopefully you found those useful. If you want to know anything else, let me know. Hopefully we can go through this together and have a bit of fun. Cheers.